It is primary night in Washington, and we have the results in our Make It Count election coverage. Good evening, I'm Kalae Chock. Chris is going to join us with the first look at the forecast in just a minute, but first we're going to get right to the numbers. You're going to see the results of key state races scrolling at the bottom of your screen throughout our newscast tonight. A reminder, Washington has a top 2 primary. That means that the top 2 vote getters advance to the general election regardless of party affiliation. Now, in Washington's Senate race, incumbent Democrat Patty Murray is facing a number of challengers, including Republican Dino Rossi, who most recently ran against current Governor Chris Gregoire in the last major election. In November, it will be Murray who tonight recorded 46% of the statewide vote with 433,211 votes. Her challenger, Rossi, who beat out fellow Republican Clint Didier with 319,708 votes, about 33%. And Didier, who was following tonight's results from his camp in Tri-Cities, finished with 93,458 votes, about 12% of the vote. Now on to the state's congressional races. We're going to start with the representative from the 5th District. Incumbent Republican Cathy McMorris Rodgers is running for her 4th term now in Congress. As it stands right now, Darrell Romaine of local television fame will be on the ballot representing the Democratic Party. McMorris Rodgers has 72,531 votes, with Romaine in second at 14,318 votes, and Barbara Lampert coming up short in 3rd place. KXLY4 Sally Showman has been following the 5th District results tonight from several campaign parties. She joins us live tonight from the Sky Deck.
And Kalae, Cathy McMorris Rodgers is leading the race by more than 58,000 votes. Despite those numbers, Darrell Romaine tells me he's encouraged moving forward. McMorris Rodgers says tonight's results show the people of the 5th District still have confidence in her. She says if she's elected in November, her priority will continue to be the economy, focusing on helping small businesses, creating jobs, and preventing tax increases. Former TV weatherman Darrell Romaine represents a new challenge for McMorris Rodgers in her 4th run for Congress. She says even though people might recognize Romaine from TV, what's important are the issues he decides to move forward.
The first step is to become a familiar face, get your name familiar to people, and he already has that advantage. And then you attach issues to that name and to that face, and we'll see, you know, as the campaign progresses, what issues he decides to really bring forward and champion.
I didn't come in to be a protest candidate or to finish 2nd place. I made the analysis that I could be the guy, and I think people will respond to that. They have so far.
Romaine says after years in television news, he's finally able to speak his mind and express opinions. His message is that Congress can do better. If elected, he says he'll focus on the economy and the environment and bringing the troops home. Now, even though he only garnered a little over 12% of the vote, he says he truly believes he can catch up to Cathy McMorris Rodgers. Live tonight on the Sky Deck, I'm Sally Showman, KXLY4 HD News.
Sally, thanks. We're going to move on to the congressional race for the 4th District now, covering most of central Washington. It includes Moses Lake, the Tri-Cities, Yakima, Ellensburg, and Wenatchee. Republican incumbent Doc Hastings is seeking his 9th term in office. Hastings will be on the ballot in November, and tonight he received about 58% of the vote. He'll face it off against Democrat challenger Jay Clough, who advances with 24,000 votes in today's count. Let's zero in now on Spokane County, where prosecutor Steve Tucker is seeking re-election for county prosecutor. Tonight, Tucker garnered 28% of the vote. Come November, he'll be on the ballot with primary front-runner Frank Malone. Malone got 30% of the vote. Earlier this year, Tucker faced some tough words from former deputy prosecutor Dave Stevens. Stevens, also on the August ballot, was outspoken against Tucker when he was fired in November. Stevens says Tucker's caseload is light. Tucker says Stevens is wrong and has no idea what goes on inside his office. Stevens had about 16,000 votes tonight. In the race for Spokane County Commissioner for District 3, serving northeast Spokane County, Bonnie Mager is seeking her 2nd term. Mager has a large lead at this point with 9,154 votes, about 47%. She's set to face former city councilman Al French in November. French has 3,467 votes in today's count. French says he's pleased to be in second. He says he'll give Mager a run for her money in November when he has more Republican support.
We're very encouraged. I never for a moment thought that we would come in first because we're splitting, we got too many people splitting that side of the ticket.
Of course, I'm really excited and happy, and it's a culmination of a lot of hard work by a lot of people who worked on my campaign.
Let's go on now to the state Senate races where several candidates are vying for the 6th and 7th districts. We begin with the 6th district race where only 2 candidates are in the hunt. Republican challenger Michael Baumgartner recorded about 51% of the vote, and incumbent Democrat Chris Marr is trailing just slightly with about 49%. Baumgartner is encouraged with his early lead.
I am the new candidate, not much name ID, and I have an opponent who is very, very much running on fiction rather than his actual record. So we have a lot to overcome, but very encouraged by the early results.
Chris Marr left the party for County Democrats tonight before our crew could talk to him. It's a similar situation in Washington's 7th legislative district, covering 6 counties in eastern Washington. With just 2 candidates, Republican incumbent Bob Morton has set the bar with 74% of the vote. Democratic challenger Barbara Mowry will have some ground to make up come November. Tonight she recorded about 26% of the vote. There are a number of races of local interest for the State House of Representatives. For the 3rd legislative district, Republican Dave White has a slim lead against Democrat and Spokane Indians President Andy Billig. White has a little more than 4,000 votes, while Billig has just under 4,000. And Spokane City Councilman Bob Apple is sitting 3rd in the count tonight. For position 2, Tim Ormsby is leading by a large margin with more than 8,000 votes. His next closest challenger, Morgan Euler, has 3,000 votes. Hector Martinet recorded less than 1,000. In the 6th legislative district, running unopposed, Kevin Parker already has the state representative first position locked up. But for the 2nd position, John Driscoll was leading in the last count with nearly 10,000 votes. John Ahern is in 2nd with more than 7,000 votes, and Shelley O'Quinn rounds out the race in 3rd. Now to the 9th district, covering southeast Washington, including South Spokane County. Republican Joe Schmick is the front runner for the state representative position 2. Schmick has more than 11,000 votes versus Glenn Stockwell's 4,000 vote tally. And there are 2 propositions on this ballot. The Spokane County Library District tax levy is passing right now. This levy would raise property taxes by 50 cents per $1,000 of assessed value. The money would go for maintenance and operations for 10 county libraries. Spokane County Fire District 9 replacement levy for maintenance and operations right now is passing. Now, for all of the latest results from tonight's primary, you can always go to our website. It's kxoy.com. Go to the homepage. You can click on the Make a Count banner at the top of the page for all of the latest election results.